Hello guys, this video here is just to kind of get you acquainted with the format of the paper, and I know that you all can read, but I'm going to read it with you here so that you really get an understanding of what is expected of you, and you can either just watch this video or you can follow your paper along with me, okay? First of all, I want you to notice that it says random student. This is just a simple way of saying a student's first name and last name. This right here is representative of the student's first name. This right here is representative of the student's last name. And you'll notice that in your header of the paper, which I'll talk about in a different video, you will click here and you see that this is that student's last name, which is representative in the video. So now you'll notice that at the top of your paper, which is according to MLA format, you're going to have your first and last name here. Obviously in the header you're going to have your last name there along with the page number, and we'll talk about that. You'll have my name here printed, Mr. Reddish. You'll have your class period. It may be first, third, sixth, or seventh period. You're going to write down 8th grade language arts, and I want everyone to write the same thing there. You don't actually have to do honors or academic or whatever. You can just actually type 8th grade language arts there. And then where it says the date, you're going to actually make sure that it actually has the correct date of your paper. And I'm just going to go ahead and change this here. You want to always have the submission date, okay? And so obviously we're going to be submitting ours on February the 27th, which is the day that it is due. You can of course turn in earlier, and if you do, just make sure that you turn it in with the date that you are actually submitting it on. So do not write the date that you are typing your paper or the day that you're researching. Make sure that's the date that you're actually going to submit it on. And I'm going to go ahead and read through the paper here with you. First of all, you see here is the title. It says Satan Has No Power Here, the banning of Twilight Saga New Moon. This is a two-part title, and this is what I'm wanting you to have on your particular research paper. You're going to have two parts titled. The first part of your title is going to actually be just kind of a creative title. You know, when I researched Twilight Saga New Moon, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's satanic, or it's talking about vampires and werewolves and stuff, it's of the devil. So I thought that was just a creative title that kind of summarized what the research out there was about. And then of course everyone's will have something like the challenging of, or the banning of, or the challenging and banning of Twilight Saga New Moon. But of course mine has been challenged and banned, which is why I just simply said the banning. So now let's go through and actually read this together so that you will be more acquainted with it. Simply says, and please know that every single paragraph that I read with you, you need to make sure that you're not only reading that paragraph but actually then doing what that paragraph says, because after you have completed all of your research, you want to make sure that you actually format your paper correctly, because remember, the research, the papers and all the source sheets and all that stuff, that is something that you're not going to turn into me. The only thing that you will turn into me is this final polished product, which will have this first page, the rest of your research paper, and your works cited page, and that is going to count quite a hefty bit in PowerSchool, so make sure that you are acquainted with that. Let's read through this together. Here we go. This paper is a format paper designed to help you do well on the research paper to be turned into your teacher, me, Mr. Reddish, on Thursday, February 27, 2014, which is next Thursday by 3 o'clock p.m. The first paragraph, which is this one, is your introduction. You should start off by giving a background of your topic situation. A good idea is to start off by giving general background knowledge of what challenge and banned books are, etc. You should make sure that you provide your internal documentation for your sentences here. Internal documentation will be discussed later on in this format paper. An effective introduction is going to begin with a strong lead sentence that captures your reader's interest. The lead is also going to be followed by the thesis statement that is specific to your novel, which is that key point of the composition. The thesis should be written 100% from you without any internal documentation, which means there should be no research that comes with that first sentence. That thesis should come from, the thesis sentence that comes after the background should only be you, with no research in that particular sentence. And then be sure to end the paragraph with that thesis statement that is indeed debatable and narrow or specific. And again, in that first paragraph, you want to make sure that you are following those components to make sure that you are having success. Let's move on to the second paragraph. The second paragraph should be your first body paragraph. You will have 3 to 4 body paragraphs which support your thesis of your defense. The first body paragraph should provide a brief synopsis of your novel. You should also provide internal documentation here. All of your body paragraphs should develop, explain, and support the key idea expressed in the thesis statement. The body of a composition should be unified and coherent. The topic of each paragraph should relate directly to the thesis statement and be arranged in logical organization. So that's what you'll do in that second paragraph there. The third paragraph should be your second body paragraph. Here you should talk about whether your book has indeed been challenged or both challenged and banned. You should also discuss who found fault in your novel and why did they find fault. You want to have the location in which it was challenged or banned, and any other pertinent information that you find. You will also provide internal documentation here. Everything should be written in third person. Therefore, you cannot use any of the following words such as I, my, we, our, mine, you, or your. Your writing should be in third person and attempt to write in active voice, not passive voice. So everything should be active and not using those passive be verbs. Notice that your paper, as you see here, is typed in 12-point Times New Roman and double space. It should also have 1-inch margins all around, and you will find the necessary tools to format this under Format, Paragraph, and File Page Setup. As you see here, you see your format, and this is the new version, so it's going to actually be here, and you'll see where you have paragraph right here because this is the new form of Microsoft Word, and you also go to page setup, which will be under page layout. So both of this stuff will be under page layout, and you can also do it there as well. Notice that your paper should be anywhere from 2 to 4 full typed pages following MLA format, not including the works cited page at the end. Your fourth and fifth paragraphs, if you choose to have a fifth paragraph, should be your final body paragraphs. Here you should provide your defense of if you agree or disagree with the verdict and defend your position with evidence and support there. You will come from both your own voice for the defense and provide applicable internal documentation. By this point in the essay, your writing should be so well developed and thorough that the reader is persuaded to follow your viewpoint and can clearly tell that you are well researched, credible, and knowledgeable. The reasoning for this is that you have strongly supported your claim with quality, support, and evidence. By now you may be confused what internal documentation actually is and what it looks like. Internal documentation is just simply the referencing of your sources throughout your paper that relates directly to the works cited page. For example, like you'll have the parentheses, the last name, and then a page number, and you'll see that in the next paragraph. An example of that in the next paragraph. A general rule of thumb is to have at least 6 quality sentences in each paragraph. You should then provide an internal documentation after every 2 or 3 sentences, which means that every paragraph will include 2 to 3 internal documentation references. You may also add some reflections and analysis which will not need internal documentation as long as it is your own work and not plagiarized. In the following paragraph, there is an example of what a typical paragraph may look like that includes that internal documentation. And I'm going to now go ahead and read for you a sample of what that may look like. Okay, so remember this paragraph is going to actually be an example of what a paragraph may actually look like, okay? Actions speak louder than words. One that involves him or herself in satanic worship or blood-sucking is not to be trusted. These witchcraft worshippers are only out to seek those whom they may devour and deceive. Beware 75. Notice that's internal documentation right there, okay? It's going to match up with this last thing, which is going to be your works cited page. Okay, just pause there for a second. According to Janice Whitlock, Bella allows herself to be deceived when she declares the kiss of Edward and is torn about her connection with Jacob 37. Here you'll notice that this particular sentence is an example of paraphrasing, or it's an example of paraphrasing here. And remember, it's going to still have that internal documentation because you don't want to plagiarize. So we go down to beware, it matches up. And also right here, this is an example here of a direct quote, and it's also coming from Whitlock, page 37. And see here how we put it in quotations because the direct quote. I go down to Whitlock, boom, there he is, and we see that it has those various sites and sources there. Young women are sometimes easily tricked into becoming pawns to be used by stronger forces that mean them no good. These forces can come in the form of other women, but usually come in the form of overbearing men that are searching for subjective, weaker vessels to house or inner demons. And you see here, this is an example of summarization. And I also see here where it is listed here to match up with that works cited page as well. People must come to their senses and begin to evaluate their surroundings on a consistent basis. Evil lurks where there is ignorance and denial. And again, here I ended on a sentence that it does not have documentation because it is only my words. Alright, let's finish up here. Your final paragraph should be your conclusion. This paragraph must not simply restate your thesis, but should synthesize your information or reflect upon it. An effective conclusion ends on a memorable note, for example, with a quotation or call to action. Only the fronts of the paper should be utilized. When you get ready to type your works cited page, be sure to provide hanging indentions. This is found under paragraph right up here. As you'll see, you go to special hanging, you just click it. Click on special and then choose hanging. Be sure to put your MLA citations in alphabetical order and be mindful of punctuation for the works cited page. Notice that you should title your paper with an interesting scholarly title that is relevant to your defense. Please be mindful to not plagiarize. Give your absolute best and good luck to you on this writing journey. And again, you end with your works cited page there. I apologize for that video being the longest video, but it will definitely be the longest video, I believe, in showing you how to do your research. But it was a very important video to sit there and actually read through that with you. Good luck. If you need more help, there should be additional videos on the site.